So let's get started building Windows Phone apps. First, we have to install the tools. If you've already worked your way through Doug Winnie's Up and Running with Windows Phone 8 development, you can skip to the next chapter because we'll be covering the same ground here about installing the development tools. Building apps for Windows Phone 8 requires the installation of Visual Studio 2012 and the Windows Phone 8 developer tools. For Windows Phone 7, you'll need Visual Studio 2010 and the Windows Phone 7 developer kit. If you already have Visual Studio Professional or Ultimate in the appropriate flavor, you just need to download the tools and use the version you already have. If you don't already have Visual Studio, the developer tools include a version of Visual Phone Developer Express, which is a free version suitable for phone development in C#. To get set up, you go to the Microsoft Developer Network or msdn.microsoft.com and click on the Windows Phone Hub. Then you can click on the big Get SDK button right here and download the tools to be able to build Windows Phone apps. Windows Phone 7 requires Windows Vista or Windows 7. For Windows Phone 8, you require Windows 8 Pro or above and a 64-bit CPU. In addition, the Windows Phone 7 emulator requires some specific versions of Microsoft DirectX, a specific Windows driver, and some specific Microsoft Direct 3D drivers. If you have a system that's 2009 or later and you're running Windows 7, you probably already have those drivers installed. The Windows Phone emulator can also require GPU emulation to support certain scenarios, such as profiling, XNA framework applications for Windows Phone 7, and displaying content in web browser controls. The Windows Phone 8 emulator also requires a processor that supports second-level address translation, or SLAT, because the Windows Phone emulator is a full virtual machine all by itself. One other important thing to note is that the operating system you use must be the ENU, or English United States version, unless you install one of the localized versions of the Windows Phone SDK in one of the other languages, such as Japanese, Chinese, and so forth. Also, Windows Server is not supported, and virtual machines are not supported for development. In addition, in some environments, for some applications, even using remote desktop to connect to your machine for doing Windows Phone development is an environment you don't want to use unless you're directly connecting to a live Windows Phone device, in which case you're not using the emulator. So pretty much, if you're going to be doing Windows Phone development, you'll want to have a dedicated machine that you're connected up to with a dedicated display so you can get the full performance. Once you've got the tools installed and fired up and ready to go, in the next video, we'll build the traditional Hello World application for Windows Phone.